Hi everyone. Welcome to the Rock Your LinkedIn workshop. We are Goal. If you have not heard of us, we are part of the Lucas College of Business. We're a business organization, but we accept everyone, of everyone from all majors and all backgrounds. So this is our team. Um, some of them are on this call right now. Let's see. And then here is our mission. We focus on career, curriculum, and community. Those are our three pillars. That's what we focus on all our events and workshops that we do. And then an overview of our organization is that we have no membership fees to join. So we focus on career building and networking. We try to give real world experience. We want to help people develop transfer skills and soft skills, and we really focus on leadership. This is our event and meeting time. So we have regular events like this one on Tuesday at 6 p.m. in person or on Zoom. On Friday, we have our leadership team meeting where we just check in and talk and say what's going on. And then on Mondays at 5:30, we have our executive team meeting all over Zoom. And so, yeah, I mean, if you have any other questions about this, there will be another Q&A later on, so you can ask me about it. But I just want to jump into the event. So here we have Professor Heidi Livingston, who, oops, sorry, I can't pronounce your last name that good. Sorry,
It's like I sips water.
I sips. And she's our wonderful professor and advisor. So Professor at SJSU teaches both in the College of Business and Engineering. She had recently just got her doctorate in educational leadership, and she has several years in industry. So with that, I'm gonna let Heidi now do her thing. Thank you,
For
Heidi.
someone with this much gray hair, I'll take several any day. That sounds great. Okay, let me share my screen now. And we'll do both. I have a PowerPoint to share with you, but I also have, we're going to be very interactive, and I'll be toggling between my own LinkedIn profile. And I do encourage you, and let me just ask for people who are here, how many of you already have a LinkedIn profile? Yeah. So if you already have a LinkedIn profile, I see some green check marks, I see some thumbs up and some hands. If you already have a LinkedIn profile, I would encourage you to have that open somewhere on your laptop, or whatever device you're using, because we will go around. And even if you're on a phone, I do encourage you, we'll be very interactive and actually working on your LinkedIn profiles while we go. And then at the end, as our flyer promised, we're also going to talk a little bit about how the intersection between your resume and your LinkedIn and how to strengthen the statements on both. And then we'll if we have some time, we'll just talk about interview questions. I'll give you my trusty interview guide, and then we'll see what we get through. We've got an ambitious schedule today to meet everything we promised, and we'll see what we can do. And interrupt me anytime with questions. Let's make this very, very interactive. Okay, so the latest data that I could find is that LinkedIn now has 930 million users. It's a powerful social media platform, but it's special in that it is very, very focused on the professional networking market. And so it is a bit of a different feel from any other networking platform because it is so focused on making your resume available and working with recruiters and everything. So that includes students too, and this is why we want students to be on it. The facts today are that 94% of recruiters use the platform to find or to vet job candidates, and that is more than all the other social media networks combined. So it is a powerful network. Does everyone know who owns LinkedIn? It's always good to know where the money goes. So who owns LinkedIn? Does anybody know?
Microsoft?
That's correct. So Microsoft did acquire LinkedIn. They still pretty much run it as a separate business, but it is owned by Microsoft. And this is an article that they keep up to date. So I've been referring to this article for a while, and everything in here is a live link, meaning that when I share the slides with you after today, you will be able to go through and read the backup links and everything. Okay. So why should college students be on LinkedIn? Well, obviously the main reason is to get a job. So it makes it easy for your reader to hire you, to tell them that you can do the work that they need you to do, and to show you have the characteristics of their ideal employee. But obviously there's other reasons that people work in the LinkedIn space besides just job search. So it helps you grow your professional network and maintain a positive online presence that will help you beyond the job search. And LinkedIn has very high SEO. And if you haven't known what SEO is, that is right there spelled out at the bottom of the slide. It's search engine optimization. Whether or not you're in marketing and business analytics, which is my field, everyone should know what SEO is. It's about optimizing your results in search. And so LinkedIn just has good SEO. So when you have a LinkedIn profile, you're very findable. So your profile is your online first impression. And one of the things you want to think about when you have an online first impression is what's called being above the fold. So above the fold is a term that comes from an older kind of technology. It's a paper technology. Who knows what above the fold refers to?
I think is it like when you fold the newspaper, the most important information and the image shows on top?
Absolutely. So when you think about the newspaper, and now we still think about it on websites, and we think about it in marketing all the time, which is everything that's above the fold, meaning that it's the first thing you're going to see when you're looking in the newspaper machine, or when you see the pile of papers at the newspaper sellers. But with a website, it's what are you going to see in your first screen, right? That's above the fold. What are you going to see without scrolling? So we still use that terminology, even though we're not dealing with something that's actually folded anymore. But it is that thinking about what's the first thing you see. And so there was a lot of thought put into what we see above the fold on a newspaper. And there's a lot of thought put into what we see in the first screen of a website on different devices. And that's why when we're marketers, we test all these things, right? We test, what does it look like on this device? What does it look like on this size screen? What does it look like? And that is all thinking about the first glance that you get above the fold. And then, so when we talk about the top fold today, what are the things that you first see on your LinkedIn profile? Let's think of everything that's above the fold. Just go ahead. And I guess what we can do is, let me just pull up mine really quick. So of course my fold is kind of big here. Let me go back to my main page. So if I click on the main LinkedIn, then it's just going to go to my feed. This is my feed. And then if I click on my profile, then we're going to see my profile. So this, I have a very large monitor that you're looking at right now, and everybody can see my screen, right? Does everybody see that we're looking at my LinkedIn profile? Yeah. You guys are seeing what I'm showing? Yeah. So my above the fold is pretty big here, right? And I can actually, let's just zoom in and replicate. This is 100%. Let's go to like 150, right? I want to get like, this is closer to what we might see on certain screens. So what is above the fold? What do we see above the fold? Profile picture and headline. Absolutely. So those are the things we're going to talk about first. We're going to talk about our profile picture. We're going to talk about our headline. And we're also even going to talk about our URL, which we can see right here is mentioned. So all that, and that's the above the fold. And then after that, we're going to talk about our summary. And when we dig into our experience, we're going to talk about action statements. Okay. So that's kind of the agenda for today. So expert tip, before you do anything today, here's my expert tip for you. You should make sure you turn off notifications for your edits. It is fine to have this turned on when you have a stable and complete LinkedIn profile and you're just announcing a new job position. Everyone loves to hear that news. When you get a brand new job position, it's great to have it turned on, but you do not want to have it turned on when you're making major updates, because you don't want to keep sending people little notifications for every little move you make. Could be quite annoying. So what you do is you go under the Me logo, and I actually did put screenshots in here, so this will carry through. So let me just run through the screenshots and then I'll show you live. So the screenshots are that if you click on the drop down by the Me logo right here, you'll see settings and privacy. And again, you'll see if you're not a premium user, which I am, then you might see extra things on my screen that you don't see on yours, but you still should see this settings and privacy. And then when you click on that, you're going to scroll down, you're going to select the visibility option, and you're going to scroll down a little. You'll notice that I'm scrolled down from the screenshot and to this visibility of your activity, and where it says share profile updates with your network, you're going to turn that off. Okay. Now, I always have it off. I never, ever want to share my profile updates, but that's a choice you make. But I definitely suggest that you turn it off when you're making major changes. Okay. So I just want you to be aware of this, and everyone should turn those off right now for what we're doing today. Okay. So let me just go over and show you live while you're figuring yours out. You're going to drop down to the me. You're going to drop down to your settings and privacy. And then again, like I said, you're going to click on the visibility, but then you're going to scroll down to this visibility of link. And this is where you're going to say, you're going to click on the arrow. And this is where the toggle button is. And I'm keeping it off. It says, should we notify of key profile changes such as new job, education, certificate, profile video, and work anniversaries? Now, again, maybe it won't share every little thing, but I just keep this off because I'm not an oversharer. My personal choice is to always have this off. You can make your own choice. I just wanted to draw your attention to this. Okay, so that's my little power user tip. Okay, so now you're not going to be able to solve this right this minute if you don't already have one, but it's hard to state how much, or I would say it's hard to overstate how important is that professional photo. You really want it to look good. It's, first of all, having a photo is a must. Don't worry if you're very worried about privacy or AI or stealing your image. I have some strategies for you, so I will get to that. But photos are important because profiles with pictures are 7 times more likely to be viewed, and they communicate credibility. It communicates who you are. It makes you human to people, and you want to use a professional headshot. The good news is there's more than one way to get free headshots on campus. And one of those, thanks for giving me the thumbs up on, one of the important ways is that you can sign up at the Career Center for free headshots. Some of the colleges and some of the success centers offer this. So I would check around depending on your major. We are open to all majors. So I work a lot with engineers and others. So each college has its own success center, the engineering success center, the Jack Holland success center for business. Wherever you are, you can check around on campus. There might be more. And some clubs, I know that Spartan Analytics did a headshot day. So some clubs do headshots as part of their activity. So just keep your eyes peeled, but there's lots of ways to get free and very high quality headshots. And you don't need to pay a lot of money for that. So, but I'll just give you some examples. You can kind of see the difference between the ones on the left and the ones on the right, as just, it's way better to have some intentionality with your photo than to just grab something, from any old thing that you have around from any event or whatever. And obviously the not smiling, it is better. It doesn't have to be a major toothy smile, but you want to have a bit of a smile to your face. It could be a closed smile, but you want to look pleasant. And then even if you are smiling, if it looks like you're at a bar or if it looks like whatever, these things can be off-putting to some people. So you just want to have a plain background. Now you'll notice that if we toggle to mine, that I do have, this happens to be a picture that someone took of me where I was at an event and I liked it. And again, this is not my biggest smile. You guys know that, but I felt like it was enough of a feeling of a smile and it was kind of cool and artsy. So I've been using it, So, but I do believe that smiling is important. So sometimes I'll have more smiley photos. I particularly like this one, and it's intentionally a little grainy, and that's a little bit for security. So let me show you my other comment. So I asked a good question in the chat, which is, what do you think about a black and white photo? And I mean, I know this is just a black and white sketch, but what do you guys think about black and white photo versus color photo? What are your thoughts, given everything you've heard? You're cool with both? Yeah, I think to answer Jordan's question, and it's a great question, is a black and white photo is a great way to be neutral. If it's a good solid photo and it looks artsy and it conveys you professionally, I think it's fine. So now let's move on from the photo to your headline. which is you want to showcase yourself. So this is just, these are both legitimate headlines. We have Jane's student and John's student, but Jane's student declares that she's a BS in management of information systems. She's SJSU, MIS, new product service design, project management, versus John, who says legitimately that he's a dining services supervisor at San Jose State, but he's really an MIS student. What do you guys think about these two titles?
I think James looks a little better because it's like divided and there's different levels to her.
Absolutely. It's using better use of the real estate, right? It's divided. You can really see everything with the vertical lines. It's using way more keywords, and it's just a better use of, you have this title real estate, it's best to use it. And so, and also you do not need to have your BS done to declare it, right? You can, and someone just asked me this, some of my students on here today are from honors, and somebody just asked me today or yesterday, am I allowed to put my project on my resume before I'm done? And I would say yes, because we put our jobs on our resume before we're done, right? We have a job that says blank to present, right? And we're currently there. So you can put things that are in process, right? So yeah, your BS is in process, but you just go ahead and claim it, right? Your degree is in process. Your fields of interest aren't completely there yet, but you still want to put those keywords out there because it's what you're going after, right? And this is where, if you're a business analytics student, but you really have some marketing skills or something else, or you're really good at finance, this is where you can put more things of interest and expertise beyond just your major, right? So there's a lot of room to add diversity. So let's see what we got. So a strong LinkedIn headline is critical to increasing your findability, conveying credibility, and motivating your audience to keep reading the rest of your profile. So to enter editing mode, you click on the pencil to the right and just under your banner image, and then you update accordingly with the goal of utilizing the entire space available. And you want to use keywords that effectively identify your expertise, focus, and experience. And this can change. If you really have a favorite job you're looking for, you can tweak that up to mimic what you want to be seen as for that time. You can change this as needed, as desired. So when I'm on this screen, it looks really long and it only goes to a third line for one word. But in other views, it might be shorter and look like 3 full lines. And I've got a ton of stuff here because I'm a program advisor. I'm an adjunct faculty. I do both marketing and business analytics, and I teach in engineering. I do communication for engineers, statistics, analytics, data ethics. So, you kind of have to decide what of your skills you're going to focus on. But it's definitely something where you want to take advantage of all the space you have. And so again, the place to edit all this section is right here. So you click on that pencil. And then you get to put, now I have 3 names. I really have a middle name, but since they don't have really a middle name option, I just put it as my first name to just kind of force the order, because I still want alphabetically to be recognized as being a letter E. And so I have it like that. And then it's really interesting. They have a name pronunciation feature, which interestingly enough can only be added using the mobile app. So they've made something that's just only mobile app friendly. So if you want to add your name pronunciation, you do that there. If you want to add in pronouns beyond the regular ones, like to show that you're multilingual, you can do that by entering custom. Okay. And then, so beyond just showing your gender pronouns, you can also add showing that you have language affiliations as well. And then, so this is where your headline is. So notice that it goes way beyond, my headline is way beyond what's in the box. So you can go, you want to just go as far as you can go. So it's up to you to kind of figure out what the real estate is and how many characters it will take. But, you want to, don't be shy about adding what you want to add there. And then you can add your current position, etc. So there's a bunch of stuff here that you can decide for this section. And so I'm just going to close it out because I didn't make any changes. So I just showed you how to, so I talked to you about making your headline stronger and how to do that. And now the other thing that people often forget to do is customize your URL. So you can make your profile more professional and easier to share and be found. So on your profile page, you're going to click on the pencil by your public profile and URL link. It looks like that on mine. And then that's where it is. So you're going to click on that pencil, and then you're going to again get a second pencil once you're inside your public profile area. And then you're going to click again on this editing pencil for your custom URL. And once you do that, you get this look, and then you're actually able to edit. And you'll notice that not only will you just want to take off the numbers, like there's a bunch of random numbers on yours when you first inherit a LinkedIn profile, but in my case, I have a very, very unusual name. And I think I can safely say that I am the only H. Isaacs in the world. I've kind of checked. So it's lucky that I have such a weird name, but that's my husband's fault. But you can just do initial last name. You can do whatever you want, but that's with you forevermore. So it's great to think through as long as it's unique, it will let you do it. Okay. It has to just be 3 to 100 letters or numbers. So obviously it can be anything you want. But it will be, no matter what you decide, it will be cleaner and less confusing when you get all those random numbers off that you get assigned at the beginning. So just to show you again, what I showed in the screenshots was you click here. And then once you get there, you get this public profile settings view. And then this is where you do your custom URL. You click the pencil again, and then it changes to an editable screen. And this is where you decide what comes in after you're linked. And one thing I want to share with you forevermore is that a piece of advice that I have, a pro tip for sharing things on a resume, is when you want to share this actual link, you only want to take, I'm trying to just get it to see if I can get Control C. You don't need the www. And so what you want to do, if I go to a fresh tab, and this works for any URL. So let's say you're sharing your Gmail, you're sharing a mail to or whatever you want to do, take the thing and try putting it in just like that without anything else. Notice that I don't have any HTTP, whatever. And you go like that. And if it gets where it needs to go, then you can use it. So what I say is that you just want to back out of all this and just only share that on your document. Okay. So this is true for SJSU and everything. It doesn't always work, so you need to test it. So for instance, let's say I want to share the link to goal. Okay, so I go SJSU, I think it's .edu/COB/goal. Let's see. No, that didn't work. Let me just do SJSU goal. This is our organization. Let's see. Okay, so I go here. I was close. See, it was COB/student/goal. But the idea is that if you want to just share this, right, and you don't want the PHP or anything, right, you go like this. And then you see if it'll go there. You just say, I've cut everything out in front. I've cut everything out in the back. And now it didn't go. So let's try it with the PHP. .php now. And this is an example. I'm glad you guys are seeing one. Now that time it went. So you have to kind of play with it, but notice it didn't resolve with the www, but it did go there once I added the PHP. So do not give a link that won't work, right? But test it, because it is so much nicer in general to keep your documents clean. So, I hope everybody gets the point that I'm trying to make, which is when you're adding a URL to your profile, you can usually drop off the www and all the stuff before. So it just cleans it, but just test that when you type in that restricted profile name, that it will go where you want it to go. So you're not giving a link that won't work if it's printed out or something. Does that make sense? Okay. Moving on. Okay. So I want you to think of, we've talked about the headline, we've talked about the URL, and we've talked about the photo. So we've talked about the above the fold. Okay. So now we're moving to the next most high priority thing, which is your summary. Now I'm going to tell you some stuff for the summary, which is helpful to think about your summary and what you want to convey. But you'll see as soon as you see my summary that it's not hard and fast and they do something kind of different. But let me walk you through kind of the advice And then I'll show you mine, and then you'll see like what you want to do, which is somewhere in between those. Okay, so a compelling summary is a summary like that you can think of as a virtual handshake and a personal intro that you might have in a face-to-face networking opportunity. So you don't want to be selling, don't use any language of selling, just telling, okay? And so you want to start with that first opening line as just a short summary. You may include that you're looking for a job if you are, and you could include how to contact you, but it depends, because not everyone that finds your public profile is going to have the full contact info to you. So you may want to include reach me at blah, blah, blah. But just knowing that also does have its concerns. So you have to just think through whether that's a good idea. But here's an example. I'm a third-year MIS student at SJSU seeking a summer internship. Whatever the goal is, doesn't hurt to say it. So you can think about what else you want to put at the top level, but I'm going to step through the next layers. Next, you want to start adding more detail. So you want to start maybe with the background of why you do what you do or why you're passionate about what you're studying. Some people might include a vignette about what makes them so passionate about business or engineering. You could, or you don't have to. You're going to see that I don't really have that, but these are all suggestions of things that make for viable and effective summaries. So I'm just going to walk you through the rest of the advice. Moving on to the third layer is you might want to say more concretely what you're doing you've maybe introduced your passion and why you're passionate about it. Now you're going to say what you do. So this is where you're going to describe and highlight hands-on experiences at the top level. Remember, this is the summary paragraph that is above going through all your job entries. Okay. So this is what you want to put at the high level. So you may want to like float up to the top certain hands-on experiences or coursework projects or other things, what you've worked on, what you tried to solve, the goals you were trying to achieve. So bottom line is include scope, challenges, results, and use bullets. And I'll show you what that looks like in mine in a second. And then another layer, the icing on the cake, is you may want to include co-curricular involvement, things that you do either on campus or within the community, like for instance, all the students that help lead goal. That's a great things to mention in your resume. In your summary. And so it allows you to highlight teamwork and or leadership positions. So these things are understood by employers to develop strong interpersonal communication, organizational, collaborative skills. So you don't have to necessarily call it out that way, but these are things that to add into the mix to really show who you are and why you're an amazing addition to their team. And then if you want to, at the bottom, you could add some additional things that you felt like you didn't really have room for in your headline. This is a great place to add a few keywords at the bottom if you wanted to make sure that there were some additional skills or things highlighted. Now, everything that I just said to you can be included just as one big bulleted list. So let me show you mine. It's funny. Okay, so this is the intro. We worked on the above. This is why, do you guys see why this is called above the fold? Then this is hidden. I only see this. Then this is hidden. I only see that. And then this is my featured section, which is very colorful, and I could add more to it, but these are things I'm really, really proud to feature. And there's a lot here. Like we're going to talk about this later, but I'm going to talk about adding visual, interest to your profile. So the featured section is really, and there's a section that highlights my activity, which is my 3 most recent posts or things that I've interacted with. Like I reposted. That's what I've done most recently. I could see all my posts if I go there. But then finally, we've gotten to the next thing that is your about. Okay. So before I dig into that for 1 second, let me go to my public profile. Let me cancel this because I didn't change it. And then here's my public. So this is what somebody sees if they're not connected to me. They see my above the fold. Notice here that it's a lot more lines because there's less room for it. And then it goes right. Does everybody see that your about section is right under this section in the public profile? So, and the other thing I want to tell you is there's a whole section over here about editing beyond fixing your URL. You can decide what on your profile people can see, there's things that everybody has available, their name, their number of connections, number of followers and region. And then you can do things like, I've made my profile photo public, but you can restrict who can see your your private. There's all kinds of things you can decide, what to hide, what to show, whatever. So you can go through and decide what on your public profile is visible to people, but that is something I'll let you spend more time on. So I just wanted to show you that on the public profile, it really is true that it's your photo, it's your headline and your URL, and then your about is right there. So now I'm going to go back over to my about over here, because when you go to this view, it's way down, right? You see it's way down here, but it shows very clear. So when when someone knows you, the first thing they're going to see is just 3 lines. So take the time to really think what you want to say in those 3 lines. So I said adjunct faculty and education technologist with focus on learning, creativity, and innovation, committed to building student-centered and inclusive learning communities, expertise and blah, 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 accomplished, blah, 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 over 25 years. If you don't, some people say, don't say more than 15 years. You don't want to tell them how old you are. I like Carolina's intro. I have several years of experience. I think I should put that. I think I'll just say I have several years of experience. Anyway, but the point is that when you're seeing it in this format, you only see just a little bit. And it's important. That's, again, another above the fold situation. And then you can click on your see more and see the full thing. So notice what I decided to do on mine is I decided to have a little 3-sentence intro. Then I decided, because I'm very proud of it, I decided to say, I really do need to change this. Maybe I'll do it right now. Edit. I will change this to doctoral candidate, because it's true that I did graduate. I did graduate in May, but I just haven't quite finished the last thing on my dissertation. So I can't quite say I have a doctorate yet, but I'm close. So if I go back here again, and then MBA from Yale, BA from UC Berkeley, and then, this is my consulting firm, and then my areas of expertise. And that's what I decided to focus on. So you get to decide what your intro looks like and what you want to emphasize, and whether you want this long of a list or whatever. But I do like bulleted lists because they're really easy for the eye to scan. And so however you do it, I would just avoid big, big blocks of text. So this is my approach. Everybody gets to take their own approach. So like I said, I will share these slides with you that allow you to think through, but you'll notice that I don't really have, when I go back to my slides, I don't really have like a vignette. I don't have a vignette, an aha moment. I don't have, I guess maybe I have some of this, like the kinds of work that I do in the community and stuff. And I can always revisit mine too. I do see my LinkedIn profile, something that's a living document. So I'm constantly updating it. I try to update it about once a year. When I say constantly, it's not that frequent, but about once a year, I try to revisit it. So I don't have this, but these are all ideas. So you can kind of do what you want with it. But mine is just one example. Go surf around and look at other people's about pages and see if you like what they do. Okay, so these are all exact. Okay, so summary tips, and then so you want to write in first person. You want to apply keywords, but don't just have it be keyword vomit. You want to just use it with being thoughtful. So they are effective, but make sure they're placed within the context of your story and not just like thrown in there. And then again, similar to what I just said, you want to use numerous smaller paragraphs because it's much easier to segment for the reader and to scan than you do not want to give a big block of text. No, 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 no. And then no need to sell, just keep it to very factual telling. It says to avoid words like extensive experience, organized, good communication skills, results driven, responsible, effective. They're overdone, but if it's the right word for you, just use it. In the end of the day, you just need to look at your own writing and see if it comes across as authentic. I would say if one of these words is important for you to use it. Don't be afraid of them. But if it sounds like it's like overdone resume talk, it can be off-putting. So you want to just come across as the authentic person you are, and never be afraid to keep revising. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. Just do a draft, get it out there, and then keep it evolving. Okay. So I guess I'll say this. So this is where I was saying, some people will not have time. They will not read your profile like a big document. They won't just read. So you want to have things available for them. So for instance, you may want to, it's up to you to think about this, but you may want to actually have a PDF of your resume available for download. I don't have that, but you could. It's an option to think about. You might want to make other things available. Notice I went into Canva and I intentionally picked this image because it's blue and gold and it looks like data and it allows me to say a little bit about who I am. So I hand wrote in my stuff. This is a fixed image, but I put my stuff in there as who I am. And, obviously it's about when I really have my doctorate, signed off on the bottom line of my dissertation, I'll be able to change that. But for now, this is what I've been using. So you can go into Canva for free and look for banner photos, banner graphics, and make your own fun banner graphic and just go around to your friends. How many of you guys already have a banner graphic? Can I show off anybody's? Okay, so let's go to Jordan. So Jordan's got a great photo. Again, it's got a regular background and it's a regular photo, but it comes across as a very professional looking photo, right? And then there's a picture of Big Sur, which is a beautiful shot of, So again, nothing wrong with that. Really, this is a little place to put something that's meaningful to you, shows a little personality. So Control C. Okay. So On decided to do a beautiful shot of the tower, our famous tower, and also a great, great photo there. Looks very professional. Okay. Oh, I thought it was your last name. I just wanted to make sure I was correct, not going to the wrong place. Okay. So, is this you?
Yes.
Okay. What a beautiful shot. Again, it's that looking up at skyscrapers. And by the way, you can find shots like this on the internet. You can also take them, you can go to campus and take a really cool shot of the Lucas College of Business from the ground up. You can go by the Student Union, which has the beautiful silver mirrors, and do some cool shot. So there's so many cool things you can do. And then you can, if you want, you can overwrite on it somewhere and show you who you are if you want. But nothing wrong with just having a photo, totally acceptable. I decided to write on mine, but yeah, this is to represent, so this gives the feeling of being in Silicon Valley, very, very cool. Okay, so lots of good examples. Thank you everyone for sharing your ideas. Okay, so we're getting towards the end here. So let me just say a couple things about accomplishment statements, and then we won't have time for the mock interviewing, but I will give you the guide. So don't worry how it's going to come. So remember, in your resume and in your LinkedIn, you want to convey in short bursts of information your accomplishments. So these are everything you say has to be part of your success story. And so you want to give written proof of the results, achievements, and successes from your past work experience. And you can demonstrate what's unique about you and the value you bring. So specificity is interesting. Being generic is boring. If you can take that knowledge away, it always improves writing. The more specific, the more interesting, and the less specific and more generic that anyone could say, the more it's ho-hum and boring. Okay. So let me just walk you through some accomplishments. Have you ever been on the executive board of a club, achieved more with fewer resources or money in any way, saved your company money, helped raise money for an organization, improved productivity of an operation, saved time, increased sales, mentored someone, designed a process, program, or product, developed or implemented a new procedure or program, completed something on time or ahead of schedule, completed something ahead of budget, volunteered for a nonprofit, demonstrated outstanding leadership skills. Obviously, the list could go on and on, but I have a feeling that everyone here will answer at least yes to one of these. And if you've done any of these things, then you're accomplished. So we need to get that conveyed. So the most important thing, the mistake that people make on their resume and on their LinkedIn is you should not be writing job descriptions. You should be writing accomplishment statements. So you do not want to describe the duties of your job the way it would be on a hiring post. You want to describe the things you did concretely with outcomes, and especially measurable outcomes. So you, instead of just the things that are on a job description, you want to give specific examples and success stories that you actually achieved. Okay. So I'll give you an example. The duty or responsibility someone could have is that they're responsible for sales in the San Jose territory. And often people write this on their resume. It's just like something that would be on a job description. But what they should say is something like, managed a team of 3 account executives and 2 inside sales representatives, produced $6 million in new revenue in less than 12 months. You can see there's so many measures. And by the way, the rule of thumb is normally that you spell out 3 and 2, but I actually think in a resume or anywhere, put them as numbers. They'll stand out more if it's just the number 3 and the number 2, because that's managing 5 people. That's a big deal. So another duty or responsibility that you might have with your club is lead a team of students for a volunteer project. You can see how there's nothing wrong with it. It's a job description, but it's like ho-hum, like anyone could say that. It's not, you don't want to write the job description in your LinkedIn profile. You want to have recruited and managed a team of 10 volunteers to work with a local nonprofit, refurbished a playground through a community build. Do you guys see how much more interesting it is to read the stuff on the right? You want to get specific. Okay. So what we're going to do right now, I'm just going to walk you through and some of you have heard this. There's also the CAR method. C stands for context, so CAR method, but STAR method is where S and T are kind of the same thing. It's situation or task, and then action, and then result. So you could also think about the S and T as a context, which is, some people will teach the CAR method. But so let me show you how. So basically, what did you do? You start with that. So you might have marketed an event to 300 club members. Then how did you do it? What action did you take? By utilizing multiple social media platforms, such as blah, blah, blah. And then what was the result? Quantify with numbers whenever possible. So increased event registration. So how does that look? It looks like this. Utilize multiple social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram to market club event to 300 members, increasing event registration by 20%. So what I want to do, we have just a couple more minutes, is quickly ask everyone to just try writing one accomplishment statement of anything at all. It could be something you did today. It could be something you've done in the last month or something you've done this semester. But everybody try to write one good quality accomplishment statement and share it in the chat. It's okay also if you feel stressed about the language, just throw what you might, think about your STAR. Throw even the situation, task, action, result. It doesn't have to be fully formed into a sentence yet. And it could be in brainstorming mode, but just throw out, did this, whatever. Just throw your thoughts. We have to free ourselves up from perfection and just throw draft versions of things out there. While you guys are working on that, I'm hoping nobody's has come in yet, but I'm hoping people are working on it. I will just say this additional thing is that you can take this thinking around action statements to longer focuses. Like, for instance, it can lead itself to like a cover letter or other things where you don't actually repeat word for word what's in your resume, but you can write longer statements of success stories or success outcomes using the same model. And so, it can turn more into a action-oriented statement that's more of like a cover letter or an intro. Here's an example. Okay, so put one in here, which is persuade board of directors to increase annual budget by 10%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the, could add to that, like it might be to achieve blah, blah, blah. Like the increase in the budget allowed us to do this new program, or, so it's a great start on, I think it's great, and maybe that increase in budget was to achieve blah, 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 that you convinced them was important or was going to have a return on investment, because there was an ROI of blah, 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 or something. So yeah, but it's a really good start.
I just want to share that I think Ron did a great job with his statement. I think these statements are really hard to write.
They are. It feels really hard to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody feel like this at least gives them a little bit more of a recipe of how to start making your writing more interesting and more action oriented for people to read? And you can see what I mean about how, if we go back to just this table, does everybody agree that the left is often what people write and the right is much more interesting to read? It's longer, but it's much more interesting to go, oh, they accomplished this. Oh, that's a great, cool. And it gives you, everyone who reads this knows that you led a team of students for a volunteer project. And everyone who reads this knows that you were responsible for sales in that territory. But the difference is that here it's like, wow, I get it, So it is true, Caroline, I appreciate the excellent point to close, and then I will wrap and let you do your wrap up of our future events and stuff. But it is harder to write what's on the right here, but it is such a big difference in terms of, being able to get attention and hold attention. I will share, and I'll re-add it to the thing right here, and I have it all queued up to do. Let's see here, and I click this. I'm going into our chat and I'm selecting Google Drive, and you're going to see it on the screen because I'm sharing. Everybody can see this, right? So then I'm going into here just because I knew it would just be easier to find it. And so I put it there. So then I'm saying anyone with the link, and I'm saying choose. So now I have shared a file in our Zoom chat that should show up. I think I have to just click open for it to go. Okay. So now could everyone see that I want you to see how you can add things in the chat too. So I just went into the little file picture in the chat and added this file. So this is I'll just show it to you guys really quick. It's my tell me about yourself. I guess I can go over here and just show you. So I actually curated this from a variety of LinkedIn and other job related articles. But what I'm giving you today is, I think it's 14 interview types, but it's way more questions interview questions, sorry. So there's tell me about yourself. What's your greatest strength? What's your greatest weakness? There's a bunch. Here's 3 questions that are all kind of clustered. Here's 3 questions, 2 questions. So when you add them all up, I think it's closer to like 25 questions or whatever. But this is all different types of questions you might get asked and what can be your strategies. One of the hardest questions is how to handle the salary question. So there's advice there. What to talk about when you're asked what you do outside of work. Do you have any questions for me? The answer to that always has to be yes. You always have to have backup questions to ask, just in case your other questions get answered. And then, of course, tell me about yourself is that opening question that often really paralyzes people. So this is a great guide for how to understand what's the strategy of the question and good ways to handle it. And so what we will do in the future is we will have a mock interviewing event. And so we'll make this available to you guys coming into that so you can prepare for the we'll have professional interviewers from industry come and ask you guys questions, and we'll make this available to you to help you. But I just wanted to give it to you today. I think this is a great way to start preparing for any interview, and all the sources are down here. Okay, so I just shared that with everyone. Were people able to download that?
Yes.
Okay, so with that, I know we're a little over time, so I want to stop sharing and allow Carolina go ahead and share and close us out.
It was all really great information, Heidi. Now's the time if you want to ask some questions. You can unmute yourself. You can put it in the chat.
And that includes any questions about how Gold works and how to get involved if you want.
If there's no questions right now, I'll move on. So now's the time that we would like to ask you guys for a feedback survey. If you want us to send you the PowerPoint slides and the video, because we are recording, we really need for you to do the feedback survey. And all this feedback helps us prepare for future events.
And I think that's also how we can notify any faculty for extra credit, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we can make sure you get the extra credit that you need. And now I think if On's still here, I'll let On talk about this next event that we will be having.
And first, yes, and also thank you, Heidi, for this amazing workshops. Yes, we appreciate your time, your dedication, and share with us like a lot of useful information, especially how to build our LinkedIn profile and how to use LinkedIn effectively to, to improve our like professional career. Yes. And also everyone, I want to share with you all real quick. Next Thursday, from 6:30 p.m. in the rooms like 258 of Science Building, we will have another workshop with Go. The name of the workshop is Effective Business Communication. And Professor Phil Tran, he will come to our campus and give a talk to all of us. And he will willing to share his personal experience, but also like what he learned along like his professional uh, journey, and also how he learned like tips on how to communicate effectively in a business setting, and also how to, like how to answer like interview question, something like that. And also he willing to share tips on how to do networking, and yeah, also other professional tips, for us as well. So I strongly recommend you all, if you have time next Thursday, to stop by and attend our event. Yes, everyone, if you have a chance again, let's just like scan the QR code real quick. We just want to know like how many people will attend this event. Yeah, so we appreciate it. Just scan real quick, and it takes us a few minutes to complete. Thank you.
And now here's our socials. Just scan the QR codes for our Instagram, our Discord, our website. And if you're interested to sign up to receive more news as well, I'll give you guys all a few moments to scan the QR codes. Okay, I'm gonna pass on. And thank you everyone for coming. Thank you so much, Professor Heidi, for hosting this wonderful, wonderful LinkedIn workshop. I hope everyone learned something new about LinkedIn and now can go get their LinkedIn started and ready. And with that, we adjourn this meeting.